As a society, we've become a little bit obsessed with morning routines, especially the morning routines of successful people. I think we often fall into the trap of thinking that a successful person's current morning routine is the one that helped them to become successful, when really it's often a luxury they can now afford since they're successful. About 6 months ago, I heard Alex Hormozy challenge this idea and suggest that when you're in a building phase, whatever that means for you in your life, your routine should actually be as minimal as possible so you can just get things done. That encouraged me to start experimenting and really go minimal with my morning routine. Since I'm in the building phase for my YouTube channel and my business, I'm making the video I wish I'd seen a few years ago. So here's the basic breakdown of my routine. I wake up, I get some exercise in, I do some daily planning, and I get started on the most important thing I need to do for that day. Very simple, very minimal. I am not optimizing for a good time here. I am optimizing for productivity. Here is my 2 simple criteria for inclusion in my morning routine. First, is it essential? Like, I have to brush my teeth. Or does it help me to be more productive and reach my goals? That's it. If it doesn't fit one of those 2 criteria, it is not happening. If you are busy, low on time, and don't have hours and hours in the morning to frolic around doing all of this crazy stuff, I think you'll love this routine. So let's get into it. The first thing I do is stay off my phone. I've only been doing this for about 2 months now, but I think it's been the single most transformative thing I have done for productivity. I do not touch my phone at all. I turn off my alarm, I lock my phone again, and I stand up and get ready. I am not perfect, and sometimes I slip into bad habits where I lay in bed and scroll on my phone or I check my email or something when I first wake up. But when I don't do it, I notice a huge impact on my entire day, my energy levels, my ability to focus, my productivity all day long when I just skip this one bad habit in the morning. And I've since learned the reason for this is likely due to our dopamine levels. So when we first go on social media, after a period of not going on it for a while, the novelty creates a large spike in dopamine in our brain, and dopamine's our motivator hormone. We don't have unlimited pools of dopamine. I don't want to waste my dopamine on scrolling Instagram when I wake up. I have more important things to do. Next, I will make my bed. And for a long time, I was someone who thought this was stupid and unnecessary. But I've realized it is not the actual making of the bed that matters at all. It's the discipline of this habit that matters for me. There's a lot of good evidence that the more hard things we do in any area of our life, the easier it becomes for us to do hard things generally. It's been super transformative for me to have this little first domino that I can knock over that kind of sets the day in motion in a positive way. Next, I will get ready for my workout, so I'll brush my teeth, do my skincare, do my hair, all of that stuff. It is essential. It is not making me more productive in any way, but I do have to do it. I do like to have my gym clothes laid out the night before because it's one less piece of added friction in my morning to getting to my workout. Anywhere that I can reduce friction for the important things in my life, I will always try and do that. Then I have my first caffeine of the morning, which is a pre-workout. This has been shown to help with exercise performance. It also just helps me start to feel more alert and awake. If I wasn't exercising right after waking, I would probably try to delay this by about 90 minutes because there's evidence that delaying caffeine by about 60 to 90 minutes in the morning after waking up can help prevent that afternoon crash that we sometimes get around 3 p.m. Next, I will do my workout. So first thing, the reason why I have this placed first thing in the morning, exercise has been shown to improve cognition, and I've also found that personally, if I don't get it done first thing in the morning, I end up wasting a lot of willpower and brain power throughout the day trying to convince myself to do it later in the day. So I get my workout started first thing when I'm like half asleep, barely even know what's going on. That's ideal for me. And I also like to work out fasted, so putting it first thing in the morning just makes sense. I wanted to add something here that I've learned over the last few months, specifically since I've been focusing on fat loss. If you can't do your ideal workout or the workout you originally had planned, just doing something is so beneficial. And it's like, okay, duh, but hear me out here. I used to tell myself that if I didn't work out in the morning, then I just never would. Like, it wasn't happening. And I realized that was really a cop-out. I never even bothered trying working out on my lunch break or in the evenings after work. I never tried doing home workouts on the days where I overslept and didn't have time to drive to and from the gym. I used to think if I didn't have time for a super sweaty lifting session or a really intense cardio session, then I may as well not even bother. Right now, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in, and I am the fittest and healthiest I've ever been. And let me tell you, low intensity workouts and daily activity are an essential part of my routine. And I think a big part of the reason why I've been able to accelerate my fat loss so much over the last 3 months specifically. I realized it was silly and honestly kind of lazy of me to not work out at all on the days that I couldn't do a perfect workout. In my experience, something is always better than nothing. So now exercise in the morning has become a non-negotiable part of my routine. Even if it's something as simple as a 5-minute walk or a little bit of stretching, it is there every single day without fail. Next thing I try to do, and sometimes I combine this with other parts of my routine, is get some morning sunlight. Getting a few minutes of morning sunlight in your eyes within the first 60 to 90 minutes after waking is hugely beneficial based on tons and tons of great science. If I'm being honest, there's really only two ways that I get this done. First, I will do an outdoor workout, so a walk or a run outside, and that's kind of like a 2-for-1 deal. The second way this gets done is if I sit outside on my deck and do my daily planning or start work for the day just outside. I don't really make time for sunlight as its own separate thing, like just being completely honest. I know I probably should, but that's just the truth. It is really high leverage in terms of our ability to focus, our energy levels, our sleep, our metabolism. There are so many different benefits to getting a few minutes of sunlight into your eyes in the morning, and I do notice a huge difference when I add it. But I like to combine it with other things when possible to maximize my time. After my workout, I will shower and get dressed, just more essential stuff that I have to do to move on with my day. Then I get on to my second caffeine of the day. I would say this dose of caffeine is even more important than my first one. This is what helps me lock in and get started on my workday. The ritual of my coffee is almost as important as the actual caffeine in the coffee, but I also try really hard not to be dependent on it because I never want to be dependent on something to be productive. If my coffee is delayed by a few hours, it's fine, I'm okay, which is good. That's exactly where I want to be. But when I have it available, I always take advantage because it has a huge positive impact on my focus, and it's something I just love. It's become kind of a cue for me that it's time to get focused and start working. So I like to make my coffee as soon as I'm showered after my workout. Next, I get into my daily planning and time blocking. This is one of those things that I know I should have been doing for a really long time and just haven't been doing. But since I'm self-employed now, I didn't want to waste time planning what I was gonna do for the day. I was like, I've got it all up here. Why would I write anything down? But spending 5 to 10 minutes every morning planning out everything I'm gonna do for the day has changed my life. Does my time blocking ever work out the way I expect it to? No, but that's not the point of it. The point is to remind myself of the most important things I need to do in the day and give every hour of my day a specific purpose and take the thought out of the rest of the day. For example, let's say that I hadn't time blocked my day and I finished editing a short. Then I'm like, okay, what should I do now? Should I check my email? Maybe I'll go on Instagram, or maybe I should reply to comments. And I waste all this time deciding what I should do next and going through the priorities in my head and weighing them against each other based on what sounds most fun or what's most important, whatever. I don't do any of that anymore. I block out my day and I follow the blocks, and that's it. It is a waste of brain power and willpower spending all day constantly weighing all these different options and trying to decide what to do next, and I had no idea how much brain power I was wasting doing that until I started doing the daily planning. This is probably the highest leverage 5 minutes I spend in my whole day. If you haven't tried it, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. I started asking myself, what do I want to use a fresh brain on? This is where I started to trim down a lot of the stuff that I saw on social media and thought I should be doing to be successful, because these things weren't actually helping me to achieve my goals. These are the things like meditating, journaling, gratitude practices, stuff like that. I still love these things and I still do them, but I just don't do them first thing in the morning. I realized that they were things I just didn't need to use a fresh brain on. I love doing these things in the evening after a long day of work, or midday when I need to take a quick break from working. I started strategically crafting my day to put the most difficult, taxing, and most creative work at the beginning of the day so that I could take advantage of my brain power and willpower. In the first 8 hours after waking, our hormone balance sets us up to more easily overcome the friction we feel around doing hard things, whether that's fitness, nutrition, work, any goals that we have in our life. There's a lot of evidence that trying to do these more difficult tasks in the first 8 hours of the day increases our likelihood of success significantly, so that's definitely something I try and take advantage of. You may have noticed that throughout this whole routine, I drink caffeine, but I haven't eaten anything, and that is purposeful. First thing, I'm cutting right now, and fasting, so essentially skipping breakfast and having a larger lunch and dinner, is one of the tools I found super helpful in my fat loss journey, just in terms of reducing calories. I also find that when I'm fasting, I tend to have a little bit more mental clarity in the morning, but I don't have a really intense fasting routine. If I get hungry enough that it is distracting me from what I'm trying to work on or what I'm trying to do, then I eat. Sometimes that happens at 10 a.m., sometimes that happens at 1 p.m., but I really just listen to my body and I try to be flexible with it. I know that some people would not survive without breakfast. And if you're one of those people, then you probably shouldn't try this one. But I know a lot of people have had a great experience with this, so if you haven't tried it before and you're not one of those people that needs breakfast, I think it could be fun to experiment with. Finding your perfect morning routine is going to be a journey. I hope this video inspired you to cut out anything you feel like you should do, but that wasn't actually helping you to achieve your goals. I promise you, you don't need a 2-hour, 10-step morning routine that includes an ice bath and a 60-minute meditation to be successful. And unless doing those things are your primary goal or are helping you to reach your goals, it honestly probably isn't a good use of your time. If you break down my routine to the basics, I'm essentially waking up, exercising, doing some daily planning and getting to work on the most important things I need to do in that day. And that's the whole routine. It is very minimal and quick and light, and it is designed that way. And that is the way I've actually been able to become exponentially more effective over the last few months. So I hope this video empowers you to try a minimal morning routine. I would love to know what you love about your morning routine in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, you may enjoy my video about perfecting your sleep, which is another essential part of having a good morning. So I'll link it up here if you want to check it out. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.